Hello and welcome in to another edition of Sitting Down with Sgar. I'm the football voice of the Hoyas, Jeremy Huber, and every week I'm joined by Georgetown head coach Rob Scarlatta. Rob, you're a happy coach this week. A nice win for you guys to open the season against Marist. And we'll start here. First off, congratulations. Secondly, how good did it feel to not only get the win at home? It had been a while, but also to get to sing that fight song.
Yeah, it was great. When you really look at how we've set up our home field here with Cooper Field and the brand new locker room and just the atmosphere that our fans created for us this weekend, it was great to get a win. Um, Actually, we were a little out of practice. The band was playing the fight song when we were shaking hands. So our players have been working on it all camp. Our theme throughout camp was put the work in and expect to win. And they were gracious enough to fire it back up so we could sing the fight song and then really celebrate with the families and with the Georgetown community, which was great. So always great to play home, even better to get a win, and looking forward to hopefully repeating that this weekend against Sacred Heart.
Yeah, happy atmosphere. Before we get on to the Pioneers, let's talk about and recap the Marist game. I know you guys ran the ball well against the Red Foxes last year, but it seemed like a better performance this year. What did they do well in that running game to allow you guys to have success?
Yeah, in the meeting following the game with the team, after victories, we'll give out the team ball. And after not that much discussion with the staff, it was an easy decision. It was for the offensive line up front. We controlled the line offensively. We ran for over 6 yards a carry, close to 300 yards with a bunch of different backs having good days. So really good to see us be able to get the quarterback involved in the run game with Josh Stakely and Naeem Kearney. And really, at the end of this game, got to see Bryce Cox, one of our freshmen who we really like, run the ball as well. So anytime that you can do that and put up close to 300 yards rushing, it's going to be a good day for you.
All over a good performance, especially in the backfield. You mentioned Stakely, you mentioned Kearney in his first performance, but I think the guy a lot of eyes were on had to be Tyler Knopp. Again, he had time, but he had only had the one start against Morgan State a couple years ago, and both Linnell Willingham and I in the booth kind of thought that despite that, he really looked like a vet out there despite that lack of playing time.
Yeah, TK has done a lot for us. And we see him in practice and have to defend him every day, and it's hard. He's extremely athletic. He can make something out of nothing at times, which he did in the game. There were a couple first downs that he created with his feet. And I told him on Monday, and through meetings, I was really proud of just his poise, his control of the offense, and that he came out and competed. In the pregame meeting, I actually sometimes I'll show the kids highlight tapes, and we've known that TK is an impact player since he's been here. I think he accounted for 120 touchdowns in high school as a quarterback with his feet and throwing. So really good to see him get into a groove. And I think as the season goes on, you're going to see him continue to get better and better as he gets more and more reps.
Yeah, taking a look at some of the big offensive plays from the weekend, and you mentioned it. And not only does TK have that foot speed, that running ability, but also I think Rob almost has that point guard approach at quarterback. It's, hey, make my decision, get it out, let my playmakers do something, correct?
Yeah, I think you saw it in the game. You're watching some of our younger players. That's Saran there with the interception. Saw Isaiah Grimes, a freshman tight end, with his first touch. With the run game, Mike Burton came in as the fullback H-back for us and has created a lot of opportunities for, our slots for Nick Dunneman. And you just saw CP with a score there. So it was nice to see some guys get some experience that I know are good players that don't have a lot of game experience. And TK did a really good job at running the offense, playing within himself and distributing the ball. So, like I said, I really enjoyed watching the game plan that the offensive staff, Coach Spence, put together for him. And each week he's going to create different opportunities for us to create issues for defenses to have to defend. And I can say it from experience. We defend our offense every day in practice, and they do some unique things. So it's been really fun to see what they put on the table, and hopefully they continue to build on that from week to week.
And Rob, in that highlight package, we saw not only the good offensive plays, but the defensive plays as well. Defensively, it felt like they were very opportunistic in the game. Obviously, had the two interceptions, one for 6 points. Did seem like, especially early, there were some things to clean up. Was that kind of your assessment?
Yeah, I would say this to you: as more and more you watch college football, the toughest spot to play is linebacker. the fits for the linebackers right now with all the motion and shifting and option stuff it's become difficult. So, it was great to see David Ely play at linebacker and also to see Nye Mose get his first start. So we'll get some things cleaned up front in the run game. I think it was a little bit of the speed of the game in the first series. Marist did a good job in their first series, mixed up the pass and run and put it together a nice drive. Coach Doherty does a great job on the sideline. I think he brought everybody together and calmed them down and made a couple adjustments throughout the game that helped us. And, anytime that you can hold an offense to just about 200 yards on a day and under 60 plays, you're doing a good job. So, some early game jitters that we've been working on throughout the week, and hopefully we can cut all those mistakes in half as we go into this weekend.
You mentioned a guy earlier, Jalen Duggar, who he ended up with Patriot League honorable mention honors this week, but a guy who the size is there, but you saw him on Saturday just flying around the field. Obviously, you have to be happy to see what he can do for this Hoya defense.
Yeah, if you believe it, Jaden's from Pittsburgh, great recruit for us and played corner in high school. So he's moved into safety and, he is all of 6'4". He's got length, and it was really good to see him come out and be extremely physical on Saturday. He came up with a huge strip on a kickoff return, punched the ball out, and just throughout the game, you saw him getting more and more comfortable in his spot. And it's been really good to see him not only excel for us now on special teams, but be one of the premier players for us on our defense.
Rob, let's go ahead and jump into this week's matchup with Sacred Heart. It's a new opponent. Obviously, that's a little different for you guys. A Marist team that you know pretty well from seeing them every year. What do the Pioneers present in your film work and film study on Sacred Heart?
They're a good football team. They play in a very competitive conference. They've won it a couple times, and Coach Nofri's done a really good job up there. They just played Lafayette in the opener in an extremely tight game. It was a 19-14 game that ended again on the 12-yard line on the last play of the game. Lafayette intercepted them, and then the year before, Lafayette had to stop them 4 downs from the 1-yard line to end the game. So extremely competitive. They have some skill players that would be good in any 1AA conference. They'd be good in the Patriot League. They're really good in their league. So they present a lot of issues both in the run and thrown game, as far as for our defense, and then very tough up front on their defense. So, not very familiar with them, playing them not since, for about 13 years, but we have some common opponents and being able to see them. And I think it was very helpful to see them play against Lafayette because we're obviously familiar with Lafayette. So, they present a lot of challenges, and, it'll be a tough football game.
And one more on the Pioneers. Is this maybe more of a game where some of your weaknesses and mistakes can get exposed with some of their big playability?
Yeah, just don't tell them. And they do a good job with aggressive style. They're going to play a lot of man on defense. And like I said, they're going to work to get their receivers in some one-on-one matchups. So, the good thing for us is that we are playing a mix of younger and older players. We got some great experience for our young guys this past weekend against Marist. And, the more reps they get, the better they're going to be. So there's not a game on the schedule that we have where you can say, oh, this is one we're going to walk into and it's not going to be a challenge. I think they're extremely well coached. Their kids play hard, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
Well, Sgar, now time for our sitting down with Sgar spotlight. We're going to bring on one of the guys that really was a big key to that game on Saturday. It's Talati Polamalu, the offensive guard, all conference the last few years in the Patriot League. And I believe Talati joining us right now. And I believe, Talati, are you there with us?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Perfect.
So we're hoping to see you today, but I guess we'll go ahead and check in with you about this. Kind of give us an assessment of how your group played up front.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we got a lot of young guys up front, and I'm one of the older guys, me and Kaysen, alongside of Luke, Losini, and Trevor. And I'm so proud of the young guys, and just overall in camp, how we faced some adversity, just getting to know each other's play styles. But the way we played together and the way we communicated up front, it felt like that was game 4 or 5 of us on the offensive line. I think I think our confidence is there right now, and I just hope we can keep this train running because we got a great group of guys and they're all hungry. Even though they may have not had as many snaps on the offensive line, they play their heart out every game. So I'm just excited to see where this group can go.
Talati, wanted to kind of get in with you. You talk about that group, your offensive line group. You know, they're also a part of a big group at Georgetown, maybe one that people don't know as much about. There's a Polynesian community on this team that really is impressive. The guys who have come from the West Coast, and you were, I believe, one of the first ones to kind of make that trip here and help build it. What made you think Georgetown could be a good home for you, and why have others kind of followed your lead?
Yes, sir. I think just the hospitality the first day I stepped on campus with Coach Sgar and the rest of the staff. Although it's a ways away from the West Coast and not too many Polynesians out here, they make you feel like family right away. I think just the excitement and the opportunity to start that Polynesian pipeline coming over here, it just adds excitedness to all these guys coming in and just we want to trailblaze for our families on the East Coast here, and it's just great. You see the numbers multiplying every year, and um, guys together, we just it's a great place to be. I can't really explain too much on that, but overall, I think that me and two other athletes were here my freshman year, and we multiplied into we're in the double digits now finally. So it's super exciting. It adds a lot of culture to the room, adds a lot of different perspectives, and I'm so appreciative of everything they've given us. So yeah.
Coach, want to bring you in. How important has it been having a guy like Talati who has such a good personality, such a good guy in helping convince folks to make the trip that he did to the hilltop?
Yeah, it's the old saying, right? That coach-led teams only go so far. Talati's been one of those players on and off the field that's really led for us and helped us through some tough times, and really done a great job of, being a big brother for our players, not just the Polynesian younger players, and has built some relationships on campus that's really helped our program. So, when you start becoming a player-led team and those guys are the ones helping you run it and really getting involved with what you're doing on day to day, it's really improved our culture overall, and especially this team in particular with all of our players, especially our Polynesian players.
Talati, I want to get back. You have some very impressive, not only things on the field, but also in the classroom. You have your master's in business management from Georgetown. Also, we were honored with the Thomas Francis Graham Award at graduation, kind of a mix of for athletes, of concern for others, academic achievement, also sportsmanship. What did getting that honor mean to you?
It meant everything, honestly, Jeremy. My education background doesn't go very far in high school, but I think coming to Georgetown just really pushed me to excel in the academic field. And if it wasn't for all the support that I got here, I don't think that I would have gotten out of my comfort zone and achieved the things that I've done. And that's a huge reason why I decided to come back for a fifth year. I think that the program here just not only cares about you, but cares about you as a person as well. And um, I feel pushed every day. I'm inspired by the guys I get the chance to practice with every day, and it's a great environment. Yeah, I'm honestly blessed for everything, and hopefully this isn't the end of the road. I hope to achieve more success in the future, but yeah, it's definitely something to be proud about for sure.
Two more quick ones for you, Talati. Obviously, the football background. You're a nephew of Troy Polamalu. There's some others. What does that kind of football tradition in your family mean to you?
Yeah, just like I said before, it means everything to me. Having Troy in my life as an inspiration just honestly kept me going when things are hard. It's helped my family out a lot financially with sports and just being a role model for me to look up to. My father was my head coach in high school for football and pretty much every other sport going on. So I think that just the knowledge that's been passed down is something that's so valuable and something that coming into college I have an understanding on how things work, and it's allowed me to get comfortable on an early age. So I'm so thankful for it, and I keep your eyes out. There's a lot of Palomalos coming up in the future for sure.
And one last one for you. I would be, as a guy who's watched wrestling for a while, I'd be remiss. You got to talk about it. You got a chance. You're related to Mina Snuka, and of course, know the Snuka family. But you got a chance to try out for the WWE. What was that experience like?
Yeah, that was an experience for sure. I had no idea really going into that how yeah, I have so much respect for everyone that does WWE, and I had a lot of fun at the tryout down in Tennessee. But um, hopefully, if the opportunity comes by after school, I'd love to talk about pursuing it. It's honestly, it's a lot of work, and not something that it opened my eyes to how hard of a profession that is, and I have so much respect for everything they do. And my auntie's been on my head about it a lot lately, so um, definitely still up in the air. And if it works out, it works out. But if not, I'm very confident leaving Georgetown and whatever I want to do after that. So
Well, Talati, for those wrestling fans out there, you're leading your own bloodline right now at Georgetown. Coach Scarlata is so happy that you're there, kind of leading the way for the poly community and also for that offensive line. Thanks so much for joining us on the show today.
yes, sir. Thank you very much.
And thanks to Coach Scarlata, as that'll wrap it up for another edition of Sitting Down with Scar. Remember, Georgetown hosts Sacred Heart this weekend, 12:30 Eastern kickoff. See it in person at Cooper Field or watch it online at ESPN+. Again, thanks to Coach Rob Scarlata, our guest Talati Polamalu, and producer Eliza Kravitz. That's all for this edition of Sitting Down with Scar. I'm Jeremy Huber. Hoya Saxa.